Hey, hello, and welcome back. I am Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity, and this is another episode of the Getting to Clarity Show. This is the place that you come if you want to get the tips, tools, and techniques to create more of an impact in your leadership with less of a sacrifice in your life. And today we are talking about saying goodbye to chaos and hello to clarity. Because let me ask you, do you ever feel like your to-do list is running the show? You have emails piling up. You have back-to-back meetings all day. You have constant distractions, people coming to your office, all kinds of things going on. And before you know it, the day is over. And you think to yourself, did I make any progress today? Did I get anything done? That's not just being busy. That's chaos. And the problem isn't time management. It's clarity. Without it, everything feels urgent, and it's easy to get stuck in a reactive sort of mode. But when you know what truly matters, you stop chasing everything and you start making real progress. So, how do you cut through the noise and focus on what moves the needle in your leadership or in your life? Well, let's dive in, shall we? Clarity is your competitive advantage. And clarity isn't just about having an organized calendar. It's about making decisions that create an impact. Think about some of the most effective leaders, maybe a leader that you have worked with. And were they running around always putting out fires? Or did they move with more confidence, more focus, more intention? If they were an effective leader, chances are they were clear on what mattered most. So when you're clear on your priorities, you make faster decisions because you know what's important. You focus on high impact work instead of the busy work. You communicate with more confidence. You're getting more done. You have more understanding. And then you therefore reduce your stress by eliminating unnecessary distractions. So the good news is that clarity isn't something you either have or you don't. It's something you create. So step number one, define what truly matters. The first step is cutting through the noise and identifying what truly matters because too often as high achieving, high performing professionals, we spend our days reacting to things that are urgent requests instead of focusing on what will make the biggest difference, right? But start by asking yourself a few key questions. What are the top 3 priorities in my role right now? Get really clear on that. Which tasks or projects create the greatest impact in my leadership, in my role? What distractions or low value work is taking up my time? What are the distractions? And once you identify these priorities and you put them front and center, then they become more powerful. So write them down, keep them visible, and use them as a filter for decision making. So if a task or a meeting or an opportunity doesn't align with these priorities, just reconsider its importance. You may ultimately say yes, but know why you're doing it. Step number 2, eliminate the noise. Distractions are everywhere. From endless emails to constant notifications to the mental clutter of trying to do too many things all at once. Gaining clarity requires an intentional effort to quiet the noise. And one way to do this is by limiting the amount of information that you consume. How do you do that? Well, unsubscribe. So there's got to be emails that don't add value. Maybe you turn off your non-essential notifications so that you're not tempted to pick up your phone or look at a tab. Be selective about what you allow into your mental space. Another strategy is to create focus time in your day. So block out time for that deep work, that deeper thinking, where you are working uninterrupted on key projects. And maybe you have to go somewhere to do this. That can help you to make real progress. Finally, take a look at your physical workspace. A cluttered desk leads to a cluttered mind. And here's why. When your office or your desk is cluttered, your mind is always looking at everything that's around, saying, do I need to deal with that? Do I need to do something with that? Is there an action I need to take? It's just a lot of mental noise. So when you have a clean desk, you have a clean mindset. So think of All of these tips, like driving through a thick fog. Okay. I know this morning we had fog. And in your day, when there's too much noise, when the email notifications are endless, when the to-do list is a mile long, when it's just meeting after meeting after meeting, it's like having low visibility on the road. You can't really see where you're going. You can't see what's most important. And every turn feels a little uncertain because you're not sure what's there. But when you clear the distraction, it's like the fog lifting. And you can finally see the path ahead and move forward with more confidence. Did you like that metaphor? I did. Step 3, set boundaries and learn to say no. Clarity isn't about knowing what to focus on. It's also knowing what to let go of. If you're constantly saying yes to everything, you will never have time for the work that actually moves the needle. So start by saying no to distractions. If it's a request, a meeting, or an opportunity that doesn't align with your priorities, evaluate it, be willing to decline it or delegate it to someone else that might help them grow. Protecting your time is just as important. If meetings are taking over your schedule, start questioning which ones are truly necessary. Could the same conversation happen in an email or a message? Could a quick chat replace an hour-long discussion? Finally, resist the temptation to treat everything as urgent. Not every request requires an immediate response. When you prioritize wisely, you create space for what matters instead of getting lost in the weeds. Step number 4, create a system that works for you. I love systems. Clarity thrives in structure. So when you figure out how to do something, then create a system to be able to do it again. If you constantly feel overwhelmed, it may be time to put some of these systems in place. One effective approach is something I call the 3-task rule. Instead of trying to tackle everything, identify 3 key tasks each day. They're going to move the needle, and everything else is secondary. I call this the power of 3. Time blocking is another strategy that helps you to maintain focus by scheduling dedicated time that you protect for deep thinking, deep work, for important meetings for your personal and professional growth. Then you ensure that the most important work actually gets done. So some people also find the rule of 5 helpful, where each week they define 5 key priorities to maintain steady progress. The right system will look different for everyone to support whether it's the tasks or the priorities, but the goal is the same. Spend less time wondering about what you should be doing and more time actually doing it. Step number 5, check in and adjust regularly. So clarity isn't a one-time event. Because stuff happens, priorities shift, distractions creep back in, and without regular check-ins, it's really easy to lose focus. That's why it's important to build a habit of reflecting and adjusting. So at the end of each week, take a few minutes. I hope you have a leadership journal. That's something I highly advocate for. Ask yourself, what worked this week? What didn't this week? What needs to change? Revisit your priorities and make adjustments so that you ensure you're still focused on the right things. If distractions have crept back in, then take steps to kind of put them at bay again. And don't forget to acknowledge your progress, the things that you are doing to help you build momentum. Celebrating small wins keeps you motivated and it reinforces your clarity. So what's next? In the next 48 hours, this is how we roll. If you're ready to move from chaos to clarity, well, welcome. Here's your challenge. First, I want you to write down your top 3 priorities for the next week. Next, identify one distraction you can eliminate and how you're going to eliminate it, whether it's emails that pile in your box, whether it is app notifications, or whether it's a task that really doesn't need your attention. It could belong to someone else. Finally, schedule 30 minutes of uninterrupted, focused work time and schedule it for tomorrow. Pinky swear? Small actions lead to big changes, and the more you practice clarity, the easier it gets for more growth. So if you'd like more strategies on cutting through the noise, then head on over to my website at www.debbiepetersonspeaks.com and get tips and tools on how to lead with more clarity. In the meantime, here is wishing you all the clarity that you deserve. Take care, be good to yourself, and bye-bye for now.